something that I think is super important, and that is essentially to go through the fast start. And maybe you've been through a bunch of fast start trainings. And one of the things that I like to coach on is this whole ILT standpoint: invest, learn, and teach. Invest, learn, and teach. So invest in yourself by reading books and watching videos and learning from other leaders. So invest in yourself, learn yourself, and then teach it to others. And so if you have a team, then I want you to really take notes on what I talk about here in my Fast Start training, because this Fast Start training that I'm going through with you has been essentially the framework that I've seen work for 20 years. I've been full-time in the network marketing profession for, since I was 24. I've had other businesses. I have another business now that does very, very well in the financial services arena. But, having built teams of over 2 million people around the world, helping, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people become six-figure earners, 54 documented $1 million earners over all the years. This is something that works, right? And so I want to go through a handful of things. So if you're brand new, pay attention to this for yourself. If you've been around for a while, if you have a team, I want you to pay attention not only for yourself, but also for the team that you're leading, right? And so I want to give a handful of keys that really make this work. And so what are some of the biggest keys to success in Viago? Well, number one is have fun, right? Life is too short not to have fun. And if you're having fun with your business, you're going to be attractive to other people, right? This business is a break from the norm. Most people are not having a lot of fun in whatever their career is. And so when they see you having a lot of fun, then it's like a breath of fresh air. That's what people want to be around, is a fun environment. And so it starts with you. And I can tell you, call it a mistake that I made early on in my career. Like what I did really well when I was really going after it, when I was in the trenches, is I was serious. I was, Marines, went through boot camp, and like no shortage of discipline, right? And I was willing to work hard. And my philosophy was literally like, I will crawl through broken glass to be successful. I'll be successful if it kills me. And I had this nose to the grindstone mentality. And it wasn't super attractive. I saw my mentor having fun all the time. Like, oh my gosh, he is just always having fun. And it's not to say don't work hard. Work hard, put in, the effort, but have fun while you're doing it. Because if you're just nose to the grindstone, it's not attractive to other people. So have a good time. And disassociate yourself from the results. And so you're going to have meetings that are going to go great. You're going to do presentations that go great. You're going to do trainings that are great. And you're also going to have bad meetings. You're going to have people who tell you you're crazy for doing it. It's a scam. It'll never work. Like they'll, every reason in the book why it won't work, right? You're going to have all kinds of crazy things happen. And so what I decided is I'm just going to have fun regardless, no matter what happens. Like if something bad happens, amazing. I'm going to have a great story to tell, right? And so be okay if the meetings don't go well. No, we're never going to have, no one bats 1,000. We're not always going to, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There's going to be negative things that happen. And so just have fun with it, right? Smile more than you do right now. Okay. And then finally, and then next is be excited, be pumped up. If you're not excited about Viago, you can't expect other people to be excited about Viago. One of the things that I used to do when I had that nose to the grindstone attitude is I didn't really display excitement. It was like I had a mentor of mine who was a very red personality. And he wasn't like the most fun personality. He was a guy that I learned from, never worked with directly. And he was the kind of guy that he literally would start work at 7 a.m. and he would work till 11 p.m. every single day, like 6 days a week. Didn't have a lot of fun in his life. And he was like, professional sort, amateur sell. It's just a sorting business. And so my attitude was like, oh, okay, let me just sort through. And I would go through the information and collect a decision, go through the information and collect a decision, but I wasn't excited. I wasn't like showing my excitement externally. And I remember an experience that I had where I was like calling and recruiting and recruiting and recruiting. And I recruited this guy. I'd called this guy Dave, and Dave like wasn't interested. And then I called my buddy Russ, and he went through the information, and Russ, like the video enough was enough for him to get started. So Russ gets started, right? And so Russ gets started, and then he goes, hey, let's call Dave. And I go, oh, I've already called Dave. He's not interested. And he goes, man, let's call him again. And I felt weird because he had already said no to me. So I call him again with Dave, and Dave calls him, and he goes, is like super excited. Oh my God, we're going to build a big business, and it's going to be the biggest thing, and blah, 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 blah. And it like overly excited. And I felt weird because we had already presented to Dave. And then Dave, he goes, oh, I didn't realize it was like this. And he joined. Right? He joined. Why? Because Russ was excited and he was showing his excitement. I was excited and I knew the comp plan inside and out, the product inside and out. Like I knew everything. Russ didn't know anything. Like he was brand new. He was like 24 hours old. He didn't know how the comp plan worked. He didn't know how the product worked. He was just excited. And so that excitement is what's going to attract people to you. So you need to be visibly excited. Okay. And then what else? Well, get really clear on why you're doing this. Okay. What is it that's going to allow you to succeed in Viago despite the challenges? And my promise to you is there's going to be challenges in any business that you're going to become wealthy in. There's going to be challenges. The art of leadership is the ability to overcome challenges as much as anything else. You know, that's the art of leadership is can you just overcome challenges over and over and over? Well, what gets you through the challenges is having a why. Like I'm really clear on my why. My why in building Viago is giving my wife the lifestyle that she deserves, to be able to have ultimate time and money freedom, to have $1 million a year in residual income, whether I get out of bed or not. So I want to travel full time, right? And Viago is the vehicle to get me there. And so I may have down days. I may have days that I don't like. I may have people quit on me. I may have people who say they're going to join and they don't. I may get no-showed. All this negative stuff I know is going to happen, but I'm not going to quit on her, right? Because I have a bad day. You're going to have bad days in Viago. So make it more than just you. Like have your own personal goals. Maybe you want to drive a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. That's great. But what else? Like who else can you impact, right? My children, I want to be an inspiration to my children. I want to create legacy wealth for my children. And so I'm not going to quit on my kids because someone quits my Viago business, because I get my feelings hurt. We're all going to get our feelings hurt at some point. A prospect or someone in your group, something's going to happen. You're going to get your feelings hurt. And so what's bigger than your feelings? Okay. What's going to keep you going through what I kind of call the valley of death? The valley of death is something that pretty much everyone goes through. The valley of death is where you maybe have a little bit of success and then it dips. And when it dips, you feel like, oh my gosh, it shouldn't be dipping. I shouldn't be going through these challenges. It's too hard. I quit. That's why we call it the valley of death. It kills distributors in network marketing. And so what's going to keep you through the valley? I've been through the valley of death so many times, but I haven't let it kill me. Why? Because I have a why that's bigger than whatever the obstacle is. And so get really clear on that why. Okay. Who suffers? Here's the other thing to think of. And I want you to write this down. Who suffers because you don't take action? Who suffers because you let your fear be greater than your why? Who suffers? Who do you let down because you're afraid to make a call? Who do you let down when someone rejects you and you spend the next week curled up in a fetal position and you can't call anyone else? And see, some of you are like, oh, this hurts. How does Matt know me so well? I know you so well because I am you. I've been through all that myself, right? I've been through it where, man, I get rejected and it hurts so much. I can't pick up the phone for days. I've had it. I've had days where I can't pick up the phone because I got rejected. I've had people quit on my business and, they quit, like the people who I thought, oh my gosh, we're going to get rich together. And then they quit. And not only do they quit, they try and convince me or other people on my team to quit as well. Or they go to some other network marketing company. I mean, I've had the worst of the worst have happened. Okay. The worst of the worst have happened. But I like to always think like, well, who do I let down if I let their opinion become my reality? Okay. So get really clear on that why. Now, the hardest part about this business is not overcomplicating it. We tend to overcomplicate the process. It's actually a really, really simple process. There's really just a few steps, right? So when you get started, obviously you want to figure out what your why is. You want to have fun. You want to be excited. But what do you actually do? And so when you're getting started, obviously you need to make a list. Make a list of the people that you are the closest to. And I would recommend start with your top 20. Who are the top 20 people that you know the best, that you have the closest relationship with? Now, notice I didn't say who are the top 20 people who you think are going to join Viago, because you're going to be wrong in most cases. I mean, there are some people who you think are absolutely going to join and they're not. People who you think will never join and they will. And I've been doing network marketing for 30 years, since I was 18. I'm 48 now. I've been doing network marketing for 30 years and I'm still wrong. When I joined Viago and I started reaching out to people, there were people who I thought they're absolutely going to get started with me. I had one of my friends who's signed up in, oh gosh, every company I've been part of for the last few years. And we met for coffee. I went through the information and she didn't sign up. And I was like, she's my guarantee. Like, of course she's going to join. And she didn't. She has some other thing that she's working on and there's a travel component to it and non-MLM, and she didn't want to get distracted. And so I had to be like, okay, cool. I was wrong. I was sure she was going to join. She didn't join. Okay. There's another guy who is a diamond in another company. Like, he's a top leader in another company and he's very visible about the other company he's in, on what a great company it is. But I reached out to him and he was one that I was like, hey, I have to be the message that I preach. I have to reach out to people. Even if I think they're not going to join, I'm going to prospect them, because you just never know. And I wanted to get a no, and I'll explain in a little while. Don't let me forget. I wanted to get a no. Okay, because that was like, my goal is to get a couple no's a day. Okay, so I reach out to him and I go, hey, I know you're super committed to the company that you're in, XYZ company, but I'd be a terrible networker if I didn't check to see if you're interested. So let me know if you have an interest. And he said, actually, I love travel. The company he's in is not travel. I would love to be part of something in travel. And so, awesome. So we got on a Zoom. Long story short, he joined. I was sure he wasn't going to join, but I put him on my list. Why? Because I have a relationship with him. Okay. So that's the thing. Make a list of the top 20 people that you have a great relationship with, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to show them Viago and collect a decision. This is our whole job. It's not to play mind reader of like, oh my gosh, so-and-so has done network marketing before, or hasn't done network marketing before, and they're going to join or not going to join. We just never know. We don't know. Okay. So you're going to make a list and you're going to show them. Now, how big does the list need to be? Well, initially start with your top 20, minimum 20 people that you're going to show Viago to, okay, and collect a decision. Ultimately, it probably needs to be closer to 200. As you get going, there's all the contacts in your phone, your people on social media, your contacts. Make a big list. And when you have a big list, you have a greater sense of, I would say, boldness and motivation, because if you have a list of 20 and two people tell you no, you just blew 10% of your list. If you have a list of 200 and two people tell you no, you only blew 1% of your list, right? So my recommendation is ultimately build a big list and just go through and collect a decision. Now, why did I want a no? Here's why I wanted a no, is because what I've realized over the years is I make money based on exposures. I make money. Every time someone tells me no, I make money. Well, how does that make sense? Because I don't technically make any money when someone says no. It's not like I earn a commission when they say no, or do I? Well, no one gets 100% yeses. The only way to get a yes is to go through no's. And if you're the best in the world, you'll typically sign up one out of about every 3 you show it to. If you're the best in the world, right? 1 out of every 3. So you're going to get 2 no's for every yes. If you're the best in the world, okay? And so you have to go through 2 no's to get, or more, to get a yes. And so we do get paid on the yeses, but we can't get the yeses unless we get the no's. So in essence, we do get paid on the no's. And so my whole thinking in joining Viago is I need to get a bunch of no's really fast as possible. I need to get these no's because the only way to get to the yeses is to go through the no's. So this is why I wanted the no. It's why I'm able to detach myself emotionally from someone saying yes or no. So when someone rejects me, I'm not taking it personally because I look at it like, ooh, I just got paid. I just got closer to a yes. And I know, where does freedom come from? Freedom comes from getting rejected a bunch. So people sometimes are like, man, what is the key that allowed you to struggle? Like I struggled for 5 years in network marketing. What's the biggest key? The biggest key for me to go from 5 years of struggle to millions and millions of dollars was getting over the rejection. And one of the ways I got over the rejection was if I go get rejected more than anyone else in the world, I'm going to make more money than anyone in the world. Because what happens is when you're willing to go through that rejection and you're willing to get no after no after no after no after no, and you go through the numbers and you present and present and present and present and invite and invite and invite and follow up and follow up and close and follow up and close and follow up and close. And then obviously when you get people started, you get, the art of getting new people started, right? If I just go through that more than anyone else, I can make more money than anyone else. And so I just decided one day, I'm just going to go crazy with this. I'm just going to show everyone. I'm going to go get rejected more than anyone else. And it was something that I don't know why, like my kind of my mentor in Amway, he said his formula for success was fairly simple. He showed the business to 900 people, 300 said yes, 600 said no. Out of the 300 who said yes that he personally sponsored, and his numbers were really good. He was a city manager. He had a lot of credibility. All right. He ran a city. So lots of credibility. He signed up like 1 out of every 3 people he showed it to. But 600 told him no. 300 said yes. Of the 300, all but 11 quit. But the 11 who stayed made him a multi-millionaire. He made tens of millions of dollars, right? And then I realized it was like, wow, I got to be willing to go get 600 no's. I got to go be willing to get rejected 600 times if I want to make multi-millions of dollars. And so if I look at like a company that I was with for 12 years, okay, before COVID, I was with the company for 12 years. I showed the business to about 1,200 people. I had about 400 that said yes, 800 that said no. I got personally rejected 800 times in about 12 years. 800 people told me no, which is more than almost everyone else in the company. So how did I make with that company? I made over $15 million in 12 years. How? It was my ability to go get rejected more than anyone else. I was just happy to get the rejection. And see, in the beginning, if you've not done network marketing before, you're going to get maybe more rejections in the beginning because you're still working on your skills. You're still working on your communication ability. And it goes back to what Jim Rohn said. There's a great audio that you should find. You can probably get it on YouTube. It's Building Your Network Marketing Business by Jim Rohn. And I think it was that CD where, he was like, if you get rejected 9 out of 10 times, you still win, right? If your sign up ratio is much lower than other people, you still win if you're willing to go show more people. And what happens is if you're willing to just do more, you're going to get good. So when the flip switched in my mind and I went from trying to only show the business to people who would say yes, I spent years, listen to me, I spent years trying to avoid rejection. And it was my key to failure. Here's the key to failure: trying to avoid rejection. When I flipped it in my mind and I said, instead of trying to avoid rejection, I'm going to attack it. I'm going to go after rejection. I'm going to do my best to get rejected more than anyone else in the entire company. I started crushing it beyond belief. At 24 years old, even though I had never had any success in network marketing to speak of, I had sponsored people and built a bit of a team, but never gotten full time. My expenses were always more than my bills. When I finally decided, man, I'm going after everyone, I'm going to get rejected more, I'm going to outwork everyone else, I went from 5 years of failure to becoming the #1 income earner in my company at 25 years old. #1 at 25. And then I joined another company and I went crazy with rejection. That company, unfortunately, was a startup and went out of business. I joined another company. I went crazy. I sponsored 27 people in my first month. And I had, I don't know how many, I must have had over 100, well over 100 tell me no in that first month, but I went crazy, just getting rejected, going through the numbers. I became the #1 earner in that company. I started my own network marketing company, built that to 100,000 sales. I was with one company for 12 years, 800 personal no's, right? And it was probably more than almost anyone else in the entire company. Out of 5 million people, I probably got rejected as much or more than anyone else. No surprise, I made a ton of money. It's the same in Viago. Who is going to go get rejected the most? The person who goes out and gets rejected the most is going to be one of the top all-time income earners in Viago. You just will. Most people, they get their feelings hurt. Most people, it's not that they can't go make $15 million over the 12-year time frame. It's because they're not willing to get rejected 800 times. I was willing to get rejected 800 times. How much did it make me? $15 million. Let's do the math on that. 15, hold on, let me pull up my calculator here. 15, is that enough zeros? 12 over 800. Okay, there it is. So if you do $15 million divided by 800 no's, every no earned me $18,750. Now, if you earned $18,000 for every no, how many more no's would you get? I mean, if you got paid $1,800 for every no, how many no's would you go get? If you got $800 for every no, how many no's would you get? Heck, if you got $100 for every no, how many no's you going to go get? See, when you start thinking about it in those terms, it makes rejection a lot easier. This is the biggest challenge, the single biggest challenge for people in Viago is that rejection hurts. It's the #1 thing that you're going to need to get over. And if you can get over that, you'll become unstoppable. Why? Because we've got the training system in place. We've got the product. We have the compensation plan. We have everything. The biggest challenge that you'll have is getting over rejection, is people telling you it's not going to work. It's not just them saying, oh, it's not for me. It's the ones who try and bash it or bash you or tell you you're crazy or whatever it may be. You just have to get over that. You just have to put that behind you and understand that if you go through the numbers and you get enough rejection, it's going to work out to where you'll make hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for every no. But it doesn't work if you only get 5 no's. It doesn't work if you only get 10 no's. You got to let the law of numbers and averages and statistical probabilities work in your favor. You need to go get 50 no's, 100 no's, and the more no's, the better. See, the more no's you get, the more you'll get paid for every no. Because what happens is the more no's you get, the more yeses you get. And the more yeses you get, the more duplication you get. And the more duplication you get, the more money you make, right? And so the more no's you get, the more money you make for every no. So hopefully I've helped you rewire your mind a little bit as it relates to no's. And so what's the system? The system of doing business here is really 4 steps. This is what my mentor taught me 25 years ago, and I've never done anything different. I found something that works, and I've never done anything different. And he said, if you want to make millions of dollars, ultimately you want to get good at 4 things. IPET. Write this down. IPET. Invite, present, enroll, and train. And I've been talking about this for 25 years. And it's a very simple system. Invite, present, enroll, and train. Invite, present, enroll, and train. IPET. Okay, there's only 4 things that we really have to do. So we have to invite people to see it. So the people on your list, you invite them to see it. Now, the key with the invite is don't turn that into a presentation. Don't explain how everything works. Hey, I've got something super cool I want you to see. When can you be in front of a computer? Call them up. Hey, are you in front of a computer? Pull this up. Have them watch a video. Invite them to a Zoom, right? Invite them to see it. The key is don't do a full-on presentation, right? Let them see the system, the marketing system in place, okay? If you're in Africa, I put together a little thing called africalaunch.com. The other one is viagopresentation.com. So you can go to viagopresentation.com or africalaunch.com, and it's about a 12, 13-minute video that explains the Viago business opportunity. You know, there's longer ones as well, but that one, typically, they are going to have a pretty good idea of whether they want to do it or not. If they need more information, you have them plug into a live Zoom. You can invite directly to the live Zoom. We do it every single day, okay? And so that's the key. Invite people to see a presentation. You don't have to do the presentation. You want to invite people to the presentation, okay? So it's invite, present. The next step is enroll. What are some keys to enrolling? The keys to enrolling are simply to collect a decision. Are you an A, B, or a C? So whether you go to africalaunch.com, viagopresentation.com, at the end of just about every presentation, we go through A, B, C. If you're a C, it's not for you. If it's a B, you want to do the product only. If you're an A, you're all in. Are you an A, B, or C? Awesome, awesome presentation, wasn't it? Are you an A, B, or a C? And you just collect a decision. C, it's not for you. Awesome. Thank you for looking. I appreciate it. Was there something specifically that you didn't like about it? And sometimes they might say, well, I'm a C because I don't have the time, right? And we can get into objection handling over another time. But the key right now is like, man, it is a game of capturing market share right now. We launched this at the beginning of December. We're towards the end of February. We're not even officially 3 months old. Okay, we're not even 3 months old. The last company that I joined that I made $15 million, I didn't start building that company until 3.5 years after the company launched. 3.5 years after the company launched, and I made $15 million. Okay, this is the first 90 days. And in the beginning is all about capturing market share. It's also sometimes the most challenging because the back office is still being populated. We don't have as many trips as we will a year from now, right? Obviously, we don't have as many escapes as we will a year from now because in the whole company, there's a few thousand members. There's not enough members to fill up a bunch of trips. So we don't have a bunch of trips right now. And so when someone's like, oh, there's not a lot of trips, I go, absolutely. This is the benefit of getting involved early before the masses know about it. I mean, we'll have hundreds and hundreds of trips a year eventually after we have, hundreds of thousands of members to fill up all the trips. And it's the leaders who get started and they build in the beginning that will own the market. All over the world, they're going to own the market. So if we don't have a lot of trips right now, that's a benefit, not a negative. But what average thinkers will look at it like, oh, well, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait until there's more trips. You can do that for sure. You're just going to miss out on a lot of market share. Okay. So enrolling, we want to collect a decision. The number one reason why people don't join is because they're not asked. Okay. And then next is train. We have a fast start training. If you go to the Team Global Facebook group, there's a fast start training there. I think it's on Team Up as well. There's a fast start training, a link somewhere. You can go in the Team Global Facebook group. In the guides, there's a fast start training that you can watch. And it's a lot of what I'm going through right now. Okay. It's just getting them to duplicate. Now, I want to give you what I think is the missing element for those who struggle. The biggest missing element for those who struggle is not plugging into our live events. We do in-person, life-changing events. And this is going to be your key to developing leaders. The way you develop leaders in Viago is that you don't really develop leaders. The event system develops leaders. Our job is to promote the events. So we have the event coming up in Dubai in March. At this event, you're going to learn from Jesse McPherson. You're going to learn from Eric Gersbowski, both who have made millions and millions of dollars in the network marketing profession, millions of dollars. So you get to learn from two of the best in the world. And the key to success is simply learning from other people who are more successful, right? It's called modeling. It's what I learned from Tony Robbins in my early 20s is if you want to have massive success, find someone else who's had massive success, figure out what they did, do what they did, and you'll have success yourself. So you get a whole weekend learning from these two guys. I mean, that should cost thousands of dollars to learn the secrets that these guys have used to earn millions of dollars, but you get a weekend intensive with them in Dubai, and there's an expense to going. If you're in Africa and you got to fly there, maybe it's going to cost you $1,000. I don't know what it's going to cost you, but whatever it costs you, it is an investment into you. And this is where you become unstoppable. The key to becoming unstoppable is the 6 inches between your ears. See, here's what I know is because I've invested in myself in going to those events. Before I had the money, I invested into knowledge, into learning the skills. And once I developed the skills, I knew I would never suffer from a lack of money ever again. I would never be poor ever again. Why? Because I invested in myself. Number one investment that you can possibly make is the investment into you, because once you understand and you get the skills, there's skills that you will have for life. And I know at this point you could drop me in any city in the world where Viago does business, and inside of a year, I'm earning a 6-figure income. Okay, maybe I already am, right? But if you took away everything and I had nothing and I had to start all over again, inside of a year, I'm earning 6 figures. Why? Because I've got the skills. And how did I get the skills? By going to the events. And so you want to go to viagoevents.com. Eric Gersbowski agreed to do a deal where anyone who books themselves and you get one more person to book the event, he's going to do a special leadership call. So that is coming up. In fact, I think that is tonight, I believe is the deadline. So make sure you're booked. Make sure you've got someone on your team booked for Viago. The most important thing that you can do for your success is get booked for that event. Now, if you're in North America, South America, then get booked to Amplify event that's coming up in May. Make sure you get booked for that. So if you're in Europe, the Middle East, if you're in Africa, get booked for Dubai. If you're South America, North America, get booked for Amplify in May. viagoevents.com. And here's the last thing that I want to say before we finish up is understand there's only one first year. There's only one first year. We are in the first 90 days of launching Viago, a company that I believe is going to generate hundreds of millions of dollars, ultimately billions of dollars. It's going to create a lot of freedom for a lot of people. There's going to be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of 6-figure earners, many, 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 many $1-million earners. And right now, we really don't know who the leaders are. The top money earner in Viago probably hasn't joined yet. They probably haven't joined yet. Like I joined that last company that I was in and became the top earner. I joined 3.5 years after the company launched. And guess what? I ended up on someone else's team and they got to benefit for everything I did. What if you had the number one earner in Viago join your business? How do you make that happen is very simple. You just outwork everyone else. Go get more no's than everyone else. And I think people have a hard time believing me when I say that. And I think back to a young guy who got started at 18 in the last company I was in. And he was a sharp guy. He was 18, sharp kid. I can call him a kid now because I'm, as old as I am. He was a sharp kid, but not overly sharp. Like, wasn't a great presenter, wasn't a great anything. And I'll tell you what he had that most people don't was just the ability to take massive action regardless of the results. He went and got 400 no's his first year. 400 no's his first year. And because he got 400 no's his first year, he made millions of dollars he made. Hit the top rank in the company, became globally known. Why? Because he had some inborn talent? Nothing to do with that. Was it because he was smarter than anyone else? Nope. He was just willing to outwork everyone. Where most people would get their feelings hurt after a no, he went and got another one. And I don't care who you are. I don't care what your background is. I don't care if you succeeded or not succeeded. I mean, when I finally decided that I was going to stop avoiding rejection and I was going to attack rejection, and even though I had failed for 5 years in a row in network marketing, I became the top earner as a 24-year-old kid back then. And so many people think, well, I've failed for so long. Well, go succeed. Go succeed. And you're going to have a story that's better than someone who's never failed, because you got a story that says, oh, I failed for all these years and then I decided to really go after it and I won. And you get to inspire all the other people who failed. If you're shy, like I was like not an exuberant kind of guy. I was just, myself, and I got to inspire all the shy people. I didn't finish college. I was a college dropout. I got to inspire all the other people who were college dropout. I was, finished in the bottom half of my class in high school. I got to inspire all the other people who thought they weren't very smart. I didn't have a nice car. I got to inspire all the other people who didn't have a nice car, right? Why? Because I just decided that I was going to attack rejection. Where most people are getting a no, 1 or 2 no's a month, I decided I'm going to get 1 or 2 no's every day. And you want to know the formula for getting just flat out rich in network marketing. And this is the formula. And some of you aren't going to believe me because you think it's too simple. Here's the formula for getting rich in network marketing. 2 rejections every day. Have 2 people tell you no every day. So go through, 2, 3, 4 presentations every day, and at least 3 a day. I'd say 3 a day, and you get 2 to 3 no's every day. If you did 3 a day consistently, someone's going to say yes. Most are going to say no. I don't care who you are. Most are going to say no. And most won't do it because the rejection hurts. If you can decide to get excited about the rejection and do 2 no's a day, I'm telling you, whoever does 2 no's a day gets rich in Viago. Whoever does 2 no's a day goes black diamond in Viago. Whoever does 2 no's a day becomes globally known in Viago. Whoever does 2 no's a day makes millions of dollars, becomes one of the top earners, impacts the lives of thousands and thousands of people. What's the formula? What's the key? 2 no's a day. So for those of you who are really serious, for those of you who want to win at the highest levels, here's my coaching for you. 2 no's a day. Go get them. Love you guys. We'll see you next time.